Welcome to Designfusion's Solid Edge blog. This is the first part of a two-part series on basic motion. Here we will look at gears and motors. The gear relationship defines how one part moves in relation to another. It supports rotational, linear, and linear type movements. The gear relationship is useful when working with assemblies that contain gears, pulleys, parts that travel in grooves or slots, and hydraulic or pneumatic actuators. It is important to note that a gear relationship does not physically position the parts in the assembly. The related parts must be positioned using other assembly relationships such as mate, planar align, and axial align. The command bar associated with the gear relationship is used to define the type of motion, the movement direction, and the amount of motion that one part moves relative to the movement of another part. The rotation option is used to define how the rotation of one part results in the rotation of a second part. During the definition, the movement ratio of the first part to the second part, or number of teeth on each respective part, is identified. This relationship is useful when defining movement between two gears or two pulleys. The rotation linear option is used to define how the rotation of one part results in the linear movement of a second part. The resulting linear motion of the second part is defined based on how far the linear part moves for the stated number of rotations of the first part. This relationship is useful when defining movement between a pulley and a part that slides in a groove or slot. The linear option is used to define how the linear movement of one part results in the linear movement of a second part. The movement is defined by specifying the amount of linear movement in the first part and then identifying the amount of resulting linear movement that occurs in the second part. This relationship is useful when defining movement between two parts that slide in grooves or slots. Other commands can be used to see how the assembly reacts to the applied relationships. To allow movement, the proper parts must be under constrained or have assembly relationships suppressed in the appropriate axes to observe movement. If all the parts in the assembly are fully constrained, no movement is possible. You can use the motor commands to apply rotational or linear motors to the model, and then use the simulate motor command to apply the animation to the model and observe the results. The rotational motor and linear motor commands are useful when working with assemblies that contain moving parts such as gears, pulleys, crankshafts, parts that travel in grooves or slots, and hydraulic or pneumatic actuators. You can define properties for the motor rate or speed, motor direction, and any limits you may want to place on the motor. The basic steps for defining a motor are: specify the motor command you want to use, rotational motor or linear motor. Select the part you want to act as a motor, define the movement axis, and specify the motor rate and limits. When you define a motor feature, using any of the motor commands, an entry is added for the motors node in Pathfinder. You can select the motor entry in Pathfinder to edit the motor feature later. The default motor name can be changed at the time of creation or by renaming it later in the Pathfinder using the rename command. There is no limitation on the number of motors that can exist in an assembly. When an assembly contains at least one motor, the simulate motor command becomes active. The animation editor is used to animate the motors in an assembly based on the motor definitions in the file. When the user selects the simulate motors command, a dialog appears to set the motor group properties. On the motor group properties dialog box, you set the motor properties that you want, then click OK. Let's have a look at this in Solid Edge. We'll use this simple assembly to demonstrate the placement of gear relationships and the creation of a rotational motor. First, notice that this gear model is not fully positioned. Nor is this gear model. If we want to create some basic motion, the components must be free to move. Let's select this component and edit its definition. In the vertical command bar, we select the gear relationship, and notice that we can then select either a rotational type, a rotational linear type, or a linear type. Here we want the rotational type. With the rotational type, we can set a ratio value or the number of teeth value. Here we'll use the ratio of 1:1, as the number of teeth in the two components are identical. We then select this cylinder for the axis of rotation and define the direction of rotation. We then select the second cylinder for the axis of rotation and define the direction of rotation. We want this direction to go the other way, so we click on the flip button to reverse the direction. When everything is selected and entered, we right-click to place the gear relationship. Notice that the gear relationship appears in the Pathfinder. We can verify the gear relationship between the two components using the drag command. Let's rotate the bottom component and notice that the top component also rotates. Let's reset the position and add another gear relationship. Next, we want to have the base move with the gear components. Notice that the base is fully positioned. Therefore, we must locate the relationship blocking the directional move that we want to make and suppress or delete that relationship. In this case, we'll just suppress it. With the base free to move, we can create a gear relationship between the gear component and the base. In this case, this will be a rotational linear type. Unfortunately, we don't know the ratio to enter yet. To determine the ratio, let's exit the command and we'll show the simplified version of the gear component. When working with gears, it is common to create a simplified part, especially in large assemblies. With the simple part shown, we can go to the Inspect tab and select the Inquire Element command. We'll use the command to get the circumference value of the simplified part. In this case, it is 131.95 millimeters. We can now close this command and turn on our design gear component. We now know that for every one turn of the gear, the base will move 131.95 millimeters, so we can enter that into the ratio value for the rotational linear gear as we create it. We then select this cylinder for the axis of rotation and define the direction of rotation. We must then define the linear direction. Again, we can use the flip button to reverse the direction if it's placed wrong. When everything is selected and entered, we right-click to place the gear relationship. Once again, we can verify the gear relationship between the two components using the drag command. Let's rotate the bottom component and notice that the top component still rotates and the base moves as the bottom gear rotates. Let's reset the position and add one more gear relationship. For the last motion, we want the arrow to move upward as if cable was attached to it and looped up and over a pulley and then attached to the end of the base. The arrow component has a path relationship with the sketch line and is also currently connected to the bottom point of the line. Therefore, we must suppress the connect relationship so that the component is free to move up the line. Once suppressed, we can edit into the definition of the arrow component and create a linear gear relationship between the arrow and the base components. The ratio for this movement is a 1-to-1 ratio. We'll define the arrow direction as pointing upward and define the base as pointing to the left, as in the previous gear relationship. When everything is selected and entered, we right-click to place the gear relationship. Let's hide the sketch and we can run the drag command one more time to verify that all three gear relationships are functioning as expected. Notice that we have the correct motion, but it's a bit jumpy, primarily due to the way we move our mouse. To get a smooth, controlled motion, we need to create a motor. Let's reset the position of our components and create a motor. Notice that Solid Edge has three motor commands: the rotational motor command, the linear motor command, and a variable table motor command. For this demo, we'll use the rotational motor command. We only need to create the one motor, as the gear relationships will take care of the rest of the motion. We'll select the rotational motor command and apply it to the bottom gear component. We then select the cylinder for the axis of rotation and define the direction of rotation. Let's set a speed of 60 degrees per second, and we'll set a limit of 720 degrees or 2 complete revolutions. Notice that we have a flip button to reverse the place direction if needed. We then right-click or hit Finish to place the motor. Notice that once created, the motor is listed in the Pathfinder in a motor collector. Also notice that the Simulate Motor command has become active. Let's select the Simulate Motor command. This launches the animation editor in Solid Edge. Notice that our motor is already listed in the Motor Group Properties dialog. We'll use the default settings and click OK. We can fit the view and then click the play button on the animation editor to view our assembly in motion. To exit this, we select the Select tool, and we are prompted to decide if we want to save changes to this animation. In this case, we don't, so we just click No, and we are returned to our assembly. Want to learn more? Sign up to our customer portal at the website shown on this slide, where you have access to knowledge-based articles, tips and tricks, how-to articles, and much more. If you require additional support, you can contact our support team at support@designfusion.com or call us at 1-8772-151-883.